How you feeling?
I feel great.
Yeah, you got some good juice? Feel a little good energy going into Saturday?
I mean, really, really good energy. Like Georgia probably shouldn't get off the bus energy.
Oh, like that 03 energy, where you had the close game in Tiger Stadium, regular season, and then it was just kind of the polar opposite, at least how it felt in the Georgia Dome just a few months later in 03.
I got yelled at by a high school basketball teammate that day. I was a sophomore on the varsity team. I didn't play. I sat on the bench
nice
the whole
job,
time.
Though, huh?
Yeah, awesome. Sat the bench the whole time. And our point guard, who was a senior, said, I mean, because he knew I was a huge LSU fan, he goes, we were playing in a tournament at St. Frederick's High School in Monroe in November. And he was like, would you rather us win tonight or LSU win tonight? And I just blatantly looked at him and go, LSU.
Yeah, what are you
he
talking
goes,
about,
what?
dude?
I was like, and, come to think of it, that game was probably a little more important than the whatever high school we played in the St. Frederick's gym.
Yeah.
Back in December of 2003.
I would say just a little bit. And it ended up equating to a national championship.
It's true.
That year. So
I was at that game.
Absolutely. And perhaps this will equate to a national championship as well. Hunt, I want to ask you what I touched on the end there because, well, first off, are you seeing eye to eye with me on how I break down this game, like the advantages for LSU?
For sure. The only concern I really have is if the Georgia offensive line just dominates LSU.
Yeah.
Because LSU's pass rush is not great. It got better last week with some twists and some stunts, and they got Chason and Brooks running wind sprints up the middle with some miscommunications by a bad A&M offensive line. But Fromm, his stats are bad, but if you go back and just look at the highlights, he does make some pretty good throws. He just, half the time has nobody to throw to. Right. Nobody to throw to, or he throws it away, or nobody's open. So it's just not a great offense. And if you look back at their scores week after week after week, they continue to win games 20-13 and 21-17. That's just not going to get it tomorrow.
I mean, it is the Les Miles offense of the new era. The comparisons and how it feels to watch are just, quite frankly, they're a little shocking. I think Fromm's a prime example. I think Fromm physically is a very talented quarterback. I don't know that this scheme's putting him he doesn't have any receivers either. But I don't know that this scheme's always putting him in the best position to succeed.
When you put the highlights on and watch the Notre Dame game and the Florida game, Cager makes every catch.
Yeah.
And he's not playing. So you feel really good about how LSU's corners are going to be able to stand up against just a bunch of guys who haven't really done anything.
Yeah, and we've seen Stingley and Fulton go toe-to-toe with NFL guys throughout the year and shut them down. And if you could contain that Alabama receiving core, this is like the minors compared to that.
The question is whether Kirby has it in him, because Les didn't, to go to the offensive coordinator and say, hey, trying to run it 46 times and keep the ball the whole game and win 20-17 is not going to work this week. So we got to go score. So whatever you think we need to do to go score points is what we need to do. And that sounds elementary and obviously the offense wants to go score points. But no, you got to take shots. You got to run some trick plays.
Yeah.
On 2nd and 2, instead of just powering ahead and getting the first down, try to make a play. They've got to change the way they operate on offense, or else they're just going to get left in the dust.
Yeah, I guess it's like you said. I think the only path to success for Georgia, or maybe the best path to success, if they can run the ball consistently and control the clock, then yes, they want to make it into that grindy, 13 sounds unrealistic for LSU, so let's say 24-21 or 24-20. That would be right in that UGA wheelhouse. You mentioned the LSU pass rush. And it seems like they finally got this pass rush on 3rd and long figured out, where it's Marcel Brooks. Last week was Damone Clark. I think he'll probably stay with what he did. Brooks, Clark, Chasson, Rashard Lawrence is the only true D lineman. But at one point, Chasson lined up at middle linebacker. Jacoby Stevens lined up at middle linebacker. The twists were all out of control from all different angles. Do you expect them to try to attack Fromm and Georgia in the same way on these 3rd and long situations?
I do, because I think that the combination of being able to play man on the outside and not have to help a ton out there allows for some extra numbers in the box. What Fromm's not going to do is make mistakes. The stat that everybody's throwing out there is that he has only thrown an interception in one game this year.
Yeah,
now, he threw 3 against South Carolina, But every other game, all of the other 11, he did not throw an interception. He'll throw it away. He'll eat it and live to punt. That's the Nick Saban was famous for saying this when Kirby was still on staff at Alabama. If we end every drive with a kick, we'll be fine. Meaning we're okay punting because the defense gets to go out there and play.
Also, ironic considering how Alabama's kicking situation has worked out since 2007.
So, I do think they'll go after him, and I think that he'll scramble and throw it away, and I think he'll just eat it, and I think you can force some punts.
Grant Delpit and Jacoby Stevens. Like you said, on a day where adding numbers to the box seems to make so much sense. Like, how important is their role going into today?
Well, first of all, I just thought that Delpit looked so much faster last week. I mean, his ability to move. That Ole Miss game, my goodness.
Yeah, the final play was just like
he comes up and he can't even move. It was just pitiful, and he just needed those 2 weeks to rest, and he looked fresh and ready to go. You get him on another week of preparation and on that carpet. Yeah, I love that. They've got a pretty good tight end. It's a Tennessee transfer that he and Stevens are going to have to spend some time with. But I think LSU's defense is pretty good, and I think they're motivated by the fact that the national narrative is that they suck.
Yeah.
So I feel pretty good about how they're going to play on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm looking at Shelvin and Ika, really, as being maybe the key guys defensively, because when it comes to stopping the run, they are truly the O-linemen of that, right? Like, they got to free up Delpit and Queen. And remember last year's game? It was when they moved Ed Alexander to that shade, and Ed Alexander making plays that really changed the entire dynamic of that game. That's when Georgia stopped having success running the ball.
And then they turned to Fromm, who
looked hapless.
Routinely didn't know where to go with the ball.
Hapless last season in this game.
So I need more of that, and everything in this game points one way, and Vegas is going the other way,
which is always a little concerning.
And I would say I would be concerned, but I'm just not. And
I mean, look, they had A&M. LSU was favored by 13?
Yeah,
against A&M. Like, so let's not be like too married to the spread always. I think it bears mentioning if you're trying to get a fully rounded conversation. It's just that we've watched this team so closely, and we've watched them against the Floridas and the Auburns and the Alabamas and all these good teams, and I see no reason to doubt them.
That's the one thing I've been asked twice on other shows, like, what actually concerns you? And the only statistic I can point to that makes me go, is that Georgia is in the top 5 in the country in red zone defense, about 67%.
Oh, okay.
And that's how Auburn stayed in it.
Yeah.
Because LSU went up and down the field, and then the field shrunk, and they weren't able to punch it in 3 times inside the 5, and they weren't able to do much. It went for them 4th down, didn't get it one time.
How I described Auburn played great situational football. Like, they turned a lot of 2nd and 1s into 3rd and 1s, into awkward 4th and 1s. Not many teams can do that against this LSU team. Auburn's D-line could. Do you think Georgia's can?
They're good. I don't see Derek Brown on that front.
No, thank God.
But they're good. I think the key there is Clyde. Picking his spots and finding a way to get up there and get the yards that he needs to get. And that's where we all talk about the passing game and Burrow, and that's all fine and well. But eventually that field shrinks to where you can't spread them enough because there's not enough room. Clyde's got to be able to find his way and get the yards LSU needs.
Am I crazy in saying that Clyde is even a bit somehow still overlooked going into this game? Like, despite what he did against Alabama and Auburn, I guess it's just because the star of Joe Burrow shines so bright, and rightfully so. He's having the best college football season maybe of all time. He's going to be a Heisman winner. But 33 touches is an insane amount of touches for one player to get on this offense. And he had 33 against Auburn. He had 29 against Bama. So, like, when they've had to have it, he's been the bell cow.
Yeah, very few people were talking about Clyde before Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
I think he's starting to get his just due. I think he's going to be the first team all-league back in a league that's got some really good backs.
No doubt.
And Spencer Hall tweeted out earlier this week, we're rewatching Alabama LSU. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was dominated. People are starting to realize just how good he is, and it's a cliche, but his fit in this offense is just perfect. And they've capitalized on it, and I think they trust him now to do just about anything.
He, more than anybody else, in my opinion, Hunt, epitomizes the core tenet of this offense. Like, this offensive philosophy, which, like if you're a business guy or whatever, as a general studies major, I took a few business admin classes. And so I learned about things like mission statements. The mission statement of this offense would simply be to get the ball to playmakers in space. And in the past, like Clyde's able to make all these tackles miss. He's able to create so much on his own because he has space to do so. In the past, he would not have. So you're right. It's another star aligning element of this LSU team is that you have the perfect back for this system at the exact right time. Like even to the point where he is an upperclassman going into this system, and well, his results speak for themselves.
They do. And there's one part of me that says LSU's going to need him because Georgia's the best in the country at limiting explosive plays. They've only allowed 18, 20-plus yard plays. Jamar Chase has 20, by the way. Jamar
Chase averages 20 yards a catch, y'all. He's caught 70 balls, and he averages 20 yards a catch.
So it's like, do I think that Georgia's going to totally eliminate the big play from LSU? I think they're going to try. But if you do that, I just don't know that you can put enough guys in the box to stop the running game. And that's what Auburn tried to do, and they've been the most successful. So conventional wisdom would say that Kirby will kind of put a big parachute on the back of his defense and keep LSU in front of him. But LSU churned up a bunch of yards. Just a matter of how they do in the red zone.
All right, give me a prediction, couple seconds.
Give me 38-17. I don't think it's even close.
34-10, 38-17, something like that. All right, that's Hunt Palmer. Catch him on game day tomorrow, pre and post.
Pre and post. We crank it up at 1 o'clock.
There you go. Eagle 98.1 game day.